Hi everyone, Tim here at Pacific Coast Trains. Welcome back to the workbench. Today I want to talk about an affliction that I have that I think is probably common to a lot of modelers, and that is having a backlog of half-finished projects or partially completed projects. I've got a whole slew of those and thought it'd be worthwhile to just share where I am with some of these. A lot of the work that I do takes quite a bit of time, and it's spread out over a number of modeling sessions. At least for me, I find it helpful to put something down and pick up another project, advance that for a bit, and then go back to the first one. At least at this point now, I've probably got about half a dozen or so, plus an unfinished layout. So this is my mea culpa video. Hopefully it will inspire me to kind of actually get some of these things finally finished up. So as a bit of a preamble, thought I'd start by showing this car first, Athearn FMC 4700 covered hopper. As you can see, I've done a reasonable amount of work to it so far. Took the roof walk off and did some of the rust that's going to go underneath the roof walk. Greened up the vertical ribs. I'm going to have to darken those up, go over that one more time. A little bit of work on the gates and the bottom. There you can see it in sort of the light. It's a little bit better than it was. But that one's getting there, sort of like all of these projects. Next on the list is a kit that was from Branchline. This is their 50-foot Berwick boxcar. Another car that I stripped and have renamed. This is going to be a Ferromex FXE boxcar. Those are pretty common out here in Northern California. You can see it's sort of starting to get done. I put some of the underlying markings. That's going to get painted up. And then another layer of decals, and then all the tagging and weathering starts. Third car, this was a former Roundhouse plug door boxcar. I guess it's still a Roundhouse plug door boxcar. This was lettered for a short line in Oregon. Bought this off of eBay. These cars, a lot of these went to MDW in paper service. For this car, I carved off the grab irons, replaced those with wire, added the two posts you can see on the two lock bars, vertical lock bars you can see on the plug door itself. Came with a pretty decent underframe, so I kept that, but then added separate detail stirrups as well. Another one that's in the paint shop. I've had a hard time with this one for getting the color right. Color green seems to be just a little bit dark for me. I have a photo of one that's pretty sun faded, which this car is going to become. But another one that's kind of half on its way, sitting on the workbench. Next is one of a few different gondola cars. This is one of Athearn's 52-foot mill gondola cars labeled for Golden West. I'm actually going to take this car and relabel it for DRGW. They picked up secondhand a number of these cars. Actually a pretty decent model. It's got the separate grab irons, which I like. The stirrups are reasonably well detailed. I've added a little bit of brake piping underneath just to kind of give it some of that additional depth. There you can see it in the video. This one, I haven't decided if I'm going to strip the lettering off or just sand it down to try and keep it all the same plane, but that's kind of where this one is going. These also get pretty sun faded, and still a little bit more work to do on this before we move on to the real weathering and tagging stage. And I actually have a couple of pretty cool tags that I want to use on this car that I found on some prototype photos. Next up are, in the same vein, a pair of 52-foot mill gondolas. These were actually MDC cars, so I had to carve off the grab irons for those. Replace the stirrup steps, in this case with some bent wire. I have a pair of these that, again, bought off of eBay. They were relatively inexpensive. Of course, you got to put a little bit of work in. Updated the end platform. I don't know if you can see that there. For sort of the brake wheel housing, separate brake wheel is going to go in. But, you know, a little bit of work kind of made these kind of up to standard for me. Added just a little bit of detail underneath for some of the brake rigging. That's probably a decent shot. You know, you're not going to see much of this when it's running around in the layout, but, you know, that's at least an improvement. I've got a pair of these that are awaiting the next stage in weathering. My wife's recently taken up painting with watercolors, so I may introduce her to weathering with washes and see if that can be something we can do together. Could be kind of fun. Last project that I'll talk about today is a AKATO SD40 engine. This was originally a I&M Rail-Link engine, but I decided that I wanted to. It's funny, I've now decided that the road names that the manufacturer puts on the side of the cars are really more suggestions than they are actual, you know, actual rules that I feel like I need to follow. So this one got stripped. It's been primered up. This is going to be a Helm leasing car, HLCX car that, or engine that I just bought the decals for today. I'm going to paint it in some Conrail blue and then, you know, start in on the decals and then all the weathering for this. But it's a pretty neat model. I've had this sitting on my shelf for a long time. Actually have a speaker that has also been sitting waiting to go into this for a while. So starting to get pretty excited about moving this on to the next stage. So, you know, that's, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different projects, all of which are kind of half finished. You know, plenty of work to kind of keep me busy over the next, you know, next while, at least until something else catches my fancy. Then I'll go from 6 half-finished projects up to 7. And, you know, if I really thought about it, would probably have quite a few more. But anyway, that's the sort of stuff that I'm working on. Hope everyone's spring is going well, and we'll see you down the tracks. Thanks for watching. Like always, if you enjoyed the video, click like if you would, and subscribe, and click the bell. You'll get alerted for the next post. Take care, everyone.